good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in. Today I've taken my R1250R Sport for a service, the second service, over to Cannon Motorcycles in Witham. And they very kindly let me out on this R9T. So this is very different to anything I've ridden before, to be honest with you. I suppose we class this as a retro bike. And straight away, the riding position is very upright, it's very comfortable, the pegs are at a decent height, my knees are quite bent, but comfortable. The mirrors are the same mirrors as I've got on my bike, basically, so they're very good. And, you know, the clutch is smooth, the gear changes are fine. We've got cruise control on this model, which is good. I do love my cruise control. We've got heated grips, we've got modes, rider modes of road, dynamic and rain. I'll stick it in dynamic and see what that's like actually. I don't really think I'd expect too much from a retro bike in dynamic. So we've got the miles per hour on the outside and the kilometers per hour on the inside. I've put it into dynamic mode and it is quite perky in dynamic mode actually. The grunt of the engine is very nice to listen to. The engine is chugging away. It's really tuned to make that beautiful deep sound that it makes. So I am having to look quite closely at the speedo to see how fast I'm going. It's been a while since I've looked at a non-digital dash. This dash has got obviously your revs on the right hand side and your speedo on the left hand side. Within the digital details within the left hand dash, I've got the time and my grip heating. So if you turn them on, a little dot comes underneath the grip, the picture of the grip. So that's fine. So I'll turn that off. When I go to accelerate, the engine is instantly there. This bike is more torquey between 4,000 and 6,000 revs. The new engineered engine. And yeah, overall, it's a really, really comfortable position. The suspension feels good. Obviously, it's very open. The retro style bike like this, so there's no wind protection to speak of, but that's fine. We're only doing 30 at the moment. We'll take her for a quick spin onto the faster roads. So we're going to merge into the A12. And actually, you know, at motorway speeds, she feels very, very capable. It's very comfortable. Very comfortable indeed. Fourth gear, 60 miles an hour, cruising along. How many gears has this bike got? Has it got 5 or 6? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, it has got 6 gears. Okay. So it has 6 gears. And we're approaching 70 miles an hour. And no problems at all. It's really, really comfortable actually. So yeah, you could cruise along the motorway quite happily on this machine. The seat is quite firm, but I don't think it's going to give you any trouble. I didn't really know what to expect. I've not ridden one of these before. But yeah, it's effortless. Very, very easy. The bars are a little bit wider, I think, than my bike, than my R1250R. But overall, no problems at all on the motorway. Very comfortable, good suspension, feels very sure-footed. 70 miles an hour. Cruise control on, and away we go. So, that's the A12 done and dusted. Absolutely no problems there. Very, very comfortable actually, surprisingly comfortable on the fast roads. I really wouldn't expect that of this motorbike, but to be honest, my preconceptions were proved to be wrong. So now let's see what she's like coming into town, coming off of the motorway, and on the slightly slower roads. Because of the way the engine is tuned for this bike, there is quite a lot of rumble between the pegs and the handlebars, but I think that's really part of the characteristics of this bike, and that's what people want. People coming in for this sort of machine, that's exactly what they want, you know. They want to feel the bike. They want to feel that rumble, that connection. It's beautiful. You look straight down and you can see the lovely engine. The dials are really, really nice to look at. It's a beautiful looking bike. Engine making a lovely noise, and it really is great fun to be riding on this bike. So very easy here in the 40 mph zone. Just trundling around town. And whilst it hasn't got a quick shifter, the gear changing is very, very simple. It's very nice. A very well behaved motorbike, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice indeed. Well weighted. It feels very comfortable. You've got no problems throwing it round corners, into the roundabout and off. There's a little bit of vibration, meaning the dials do bounce around a little bit. Looks like they're on some kind of flexible mount, so there is movement there on the dials on the dashboard. I think, you know, you could definitely do long distance on this motorbike if you wanted to. It's capable, but at the same time it's really going to like the short distance journeys, the little commutes to work, popping to town to meet your friends, off to the coffee shop. I suppose this is it classed as a cafe racer, I suppose? Is it that kind of genre? It's definitely good fun to ride. The pegs feel really comfortable. They're quite big and wide, the pegs on this bike, and that's really good. I do like that. And you can get your knees into the belly of the bike. You know, you can grip on. It's flickable. Very, very nice riding experience. Set the cruise to 30 miles an hour because there's a speed camera coming up, and I don't really want to get any points, especially as I can't really see the dials that well. I mean, they're clear, but, you know, coming from an LCD display, they're not as clear. So I'm going to be very, very careful here. Extremely careful going through the speed trap. Feels like I should be dropping it down to first gear, really. So it'll easily do 30 miles an hour in first gear. I suppose it's, you know, it's a very big engine on the bike. This capable boxer engine that we all love and know so much. Anyone who's into their BMWs. But yeah, the way they've worked the engine and retuned it for this bike, it's really good fun. It's a lovely feel. And it's absolute simplicity, but at the same time there are some, you know, smatterings of technology, like the cruise control, like the heated grips, like the Brembo brakes, the riding modes. All of these things add to your experience, and you know, whilst you're getting the retro feel and retro look, you're also getting modern day quality and luxury and comfort, which is, you know, it's the best of both worlds. I know there are some purists out there who, you know, you don't like all the electronic gizmos and gadgets, but at the end of the day, if it's safety and comfort that they provide, I don't really see what the issue is. It's a little bit bumpy, I will say, the suspension there over the bumps. Bumper, bumper, bumper. A little bit bumpy, but nothing too bad. Can we filter on this machine? Yes, I think we can, no problem at all. I'm not going to get in front of the bus, I will be honest, but we'll just sneak in here. Round the roundabout. Yeah, she's very good to lean over. Just having to remember to clutch when I change gear, really. That's the only thing that I'm struggling with, because all the bikes I've ridden recently have had quick shifters, and that does make everything much nicer and easier for you. So I don't know if you can add a quick shifter to this bike. I don't know if what I'm saying is sacrilege to those of you who like these sorts of machines, but I like a quick shifter. And if I got one of these, I probably would fit a quick shifter. If that's allowed, if that is a retro option, or even an option when you buy the bike. I'm sure they could. But yeah, in and around town, guys, it's very nimble, very agile. Nicely through the traffic. And no real problems at all, really.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are on the bike walk around. Today the guest is the BMW R9T. Now, as you can see, this has got spoked wheels. We have LED lights front and back. Rider modes on this bike are road, rain and dynamic, and of course we've got the classic dual cluster. This is very much a retro bike, and to be honest with you, I've never ridden anything like this before. But with many of the bikes of BMW, the basics of the bike, the beginnings of the bike are very similar. So we have the shaft drive, we've got the 1250 engine, the switchgear is very, very familiar, the mirrors, the gold forks, the brakes, we have Brembo brakes, and at the back it's BMW brakes. We've got twin floating discs on the front, single disc on the back, and the brakes, as per usual with this sort of bike, and with BMWs, to be honest with you, in general, the brakes are very, very good indeed. One of the biggest draws to this sort of bike is that the bike is completely customizable. This particular bike has got the option 7/9 wheels, which are really, really nice actually. I've got to get in there and look at the detail of these spokes on the wheels. It's absolutely beautiful, really, really nice. So there's the back wheel, and we'll just move across and show you the front wheel as well. You can see the Brembo brakes. This has got the gold forks on it, but no ESA on this machine. All around the bike, the detail is just really, really beautiful. I mean, I love the small radiator to the front here, the LED lights. We've got the 1250 engine, which is tuned especially for this style of bike. Really nice rumble to it. 9T embossed on the side. It's a real classic look. It's a beautiful, beautifully designed bike, and the detail, every single detail just seems to be thought out so nicely. Down to this piece of trim here, and the way the engine is integrated into the chassis of the bike. Every single detail, even down to the back foot pegs here, which have got a kind of side rest for your shoe there, so you don't, you're not falling into the wheel. You can clearly see the shaft drive around the back of the bike. This is what she looks like from back here, guys. Really muscular, the engine coming out, and there we just get the first peak of the twin exhaust, which again is really beautiful. Single swing arm, so you can get the detail of the insides of the wheel there as well. Also makes it easier for cleaning purposes, I will say, which is a very good thing as far as I'm concerned. And again, just the detail of the bike, the finish of this bike is really, really beautiful. As I said before, one of the main attractions of the bike is that it is completely customizable, so you can change so many things on this bike, and I'm not going to even attempt to try and go through and tell you what you can and can't be changed, but it is really, really a very, very customizable bike to make it completely your own. In this sunlight, in this weather, it's a real beauty. And as we just walk round, this is your view as the rider. You can see the twin dials, very old-fashioned dials there. I do struggle a little bit to see the speed I'm going, but you do get used to it. And with regard to the switchgear on the bike, this is standard BMW switchgear, okay? So the mirrors, you can see them, they're just the same as my bike. They're very, very good, no problems at all. And the switchgear, as we can see here, you've got cruise control, you've got your hazard lights, you've got your menu button, there's your left and right, you've got your horn, and then over here we have got heated grips, 2-stage. We have got modes, we've got rain, road and dynamic, and the starter button. And we have a key! Oh my goodness, it's a key. We'll give it a twist, we'll turn her on, we'll start the engine. You get that sideways rumble on the bike, and well, I think it sounds really, really nice. We're going to have a little listen to the exhaust note. So let's take you through the switchgear and the controls on this bike. Okay, so the menu buttons here. If I push down on the menu button, it's changing the right hand menu here, you can see. So we've got speed, average, voltage, miles per gallon. I'm going to be honest and say I don't really know what that is. And the engine temperature and the average speed. Moving over to this side, if I push up on the menu button, we've got the time here, we've got the mode in road, setup, we can enter into the setup, how many miles we've done, different amount of miles, different trip, again a different trip I assume, what I've done today, the outside temperature 16 degrees, and back to the time. As I said, we've got cruise control. This works just as the cruise does on all the other BMW models. Left and right turn signals, the horn. That sounds as we expected it to, I think, doesn't it? And then we've got the heated grips. When I push the heated grip button, it will show down here. Okay? Currently set to 2. Push it again, it's set to 1. So it's only 2. So it's hot, cold, off. And that's that. And we've got the mode button. So when I push the mode button, it will bring up the road, dynamic, and rain. And obviously to change those settings, when you select road, rain, or dynamic, you simply depress the clutch, turn the throttle off, and it will change modes. So again, let's just have a listen. When I'm on the bike and it stands still, when I rev it, it kicks me to the right hand side. It's a beautifully engineered bike. As I step off, the side stand's fairly easy. You have got a notch there, and it's quite easy to find. So yeah, overall guys, it's a beautifully made bike, absolutely beautiful. The key does add a bit of a retro feel to it also, because not many bikes have keys these days, do they? Well, I suppose a few do, but at this price point, and I think this particular bike, it starts at 13 grand, but with the add-ons this particular bike has, it's going to be more than 13 grand. It's probably touching 15 grand. Here we can see the LED front light, which is really nice, lovely detail. You've got the BMW slogan in the middle of the light. That's lovely. Let's have a look and see what she looks like when we put the main beam on, shall we? That's the main beam. Obviously in this light you're not going to see exactly how she looks, but it's a very, very good light, guys. It's very, very good indeed. And then with the hazards, we have the hazards as well. So LED lights front and back, very, very nice. And it's a beautifully made machine and a very, very nice looking machine. And like I say, the detail of the bike is really, really good. What else haven't I mentioned? Well, the brake and clutch are adjustable. There's different positions that you can turn, and they're fairly straightforward to do, so that's good. 5 positions by the looks of it, and also 5 positions on the clutch. The wiring, Joe, you like some tidy wiring. The wiring is very, very tidy, very nice. It's all put together really, really well. Looks like you've got some adjustment here on the front as well. And I'm assuming you'll need a tool for that. Even though it is a retro bike, it will work brilliantly on the motorway. Great on the 30s in town, no problems at all. Easy to park it anywhere you like. Just like with any motorbike really, but this feels a little bit more like you can park it anywhere. And on the twisties, it's great fun as well. So overall, an excellent bike, and actually more capable than what I thought it would be before I took it out today. Curb weight is 221 kilograms wet. The seat height is 805 millimeters, and I find it very unintimidating, easy to flat foot. As you can see, as the bike is ticking over, there's a lot of rumble. You can see the mirrors are moving. That's not my shaking hands. And also the instrument cluster is really moving. So the rumble of the engine, it really is something that's intrinsic with the experience of this bike, when you're looking at a retro bike like this, you know, you expect that feel, you expect that kind of retro feel to it, that you really feel connected to the bike. That's it for the bike walk around now, guys, and we're going to jump on the bike and get back to Cannon BMW in Witham.
Okay, so we've done the bike walk around, and now we're going to go down some country lanes on this lovely retro machine and see how she handles around those parts. Okay. Yep, she's definitely fun down the lanes, guys. In a different kind of way to other bikes I've ridden, but it's a very, very nice riding experience. So guys, in conclusion, this BMW R9T is a really, really lovely motorbike. Feels smooth when you're riding it, lovely rumble from the engine, really, really retro kind of bike, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. It's very, very easy to ride, very simple. And in road mode, very capable. The dynamic mode does add an extra layer to it. It does actually make the bike feel much quicker, which is lovely. On the motorways, no problems at all. On the 40s, 50s and 60s, like these kind of roads, absolutely fine also. And into town, in the 30s, in through traffic, filtering, that's also no problem at all on this bike. The main draw to this bike, I think, really is the look of it, and it really has got a certain style to it, which I know endears a lot of people to this bike, and the fact that it is so customizable means that you can really make it your own, and that's a lovely thing on any given motorbike, really. Round the roundabouts, really easy and nimble, and just absolutely no problems at all, really. So it's a nice bike. I didn't really know what to expect. It's one of those really where I've never ridden a bike like this before, but it purrs along, and it really makes things very comfortable and easy and enjoyable. There's not so much tech to think about like a lot of the bikes that I've ridden recently. You can just get on the bike and get on with riding and not worry about setting this mode or that mode or the suspension or whatever it might be. Just, you know, just get onto the bike, get onto the lanes and enjoy what this bike can do. So everybody, as we near Cannon BMW Motorcycles in Witham, just taking the R90 back to them. Just want to say thanks to everybody for viewing today. To those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much indeed. To those of you who are viewing for the first time, welcome. Have a look around and please do leave me your comments. As always, guys, when you get out there next, please do ride safe. And this has been me with the BMW R90. We'll see you on the next one.
When you're looking at a retro bike like